I'm Patty Kersey, Chuan County. Dan, you have my vote.
Run, Forrest, run!
Run, Forrest, run! Run, Forrest, run! Run, Forrest, run!
Hi, my name is Catherine Madison from New Hanover County, and Dan, you've got my vote.
I'm Steve Madison from New Hanover County. Dan, you've got my vote.
Run, Forrest, run! Run, Forrest, run!
Carolyn Justice, Pender County, former Vice Chair of the NCGOP. I'm for Dan Forrest.
Run, Forrest, run!
Hi, I'm Nikki Haley, former governor of South Carolina and U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. It's an exciting time for North Carolina. You know, as governor of South Carolina, we were always rivals and we competed for jobs and we competed for other things. But at the end of the day, we still are the Carolinas, and that's my sister state, and I want to see it do well. We have an exciting chance to bring Dan Forrest and the Republicans back into government stronghold in North Carolina. And Dan is the right person for the job. He understands what working families go through. He knows what it's like to have businesses that need to create jobs and keep their workers. He understands that every child deserves a good education regardless of where they're born and raised. And he understands that means having internet in all schools. Dan understands quality of life for the people of North Carolina, and he understands you run towards a challenge, you don't run from it or run from a pandemic. So this is a time we can help Dan. Please go to danforrest.com and consider donating today so we can keep him strong. If you can't donate, consider volunteering, because there's going to be a massive force out that we've got to make sure we bring in November. But let's bring this home for Dan. Thanks so much. God bless.
Hey, North Carolina, welcome to the Team Forrest Digital Rally and Telethon. We are coming to you live from the Table Farmhouse Bakery in the heart of Asheboro, North Carolina. Thank you to Ambassador Nikki Haley for kicking us off. Nikki Haley is the former ambassador to the United Nations and former governor of South Carolina. Everyone on Team Forrest appreciates her support. I'm Ruth Motley, the digital director of the Dan Forrest for Governor campaign and your host for this evening. We are all part of this groundbreaking event. This is the first digital rally in North Carolina's political history. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what that means and how tonight will work. We have several guests joining us this evening: governors, members of Congress, business owners, and community leaders. Some will be joining us live, while others will be making an appearance by video. We are all here with one goal in mind, and that's to ensure Dan Forrest becomes the next governor of North Carolina. If you can believe it, the first ballots will be cast in the next few days, and we need your help to reach as many North Carolinians as possible. So while you're watching, we are going to ask you to do a few things for us. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the share button and tag your friends and family in the comments section. If you're on Twitter, give us a retweet and use hashtag Team Forrest and hashtag #RunForrestRun. If you have friends and family who aren't on social media, that is no problem. Encourage them to tune in via our website at danforrest.com or our official YouTube channel. Now, on your screen, you will see our website and a phone number to text. We have made it as easy as possible to contribute. On the ticker you see across your screen are people who have contributed to this effort. We'll be updating this throughout the broadcast as contributions come in, so be sure to get your name on there. Friends, we know many of you are finding yourselves in a tight economic situation. Any amount you can give is appreciated. This campaign is financed by North Carolinians like yourself, and we are humbled and thankful for every dollar that comes in. Now, with that out of the way, we are going to get started with our first guest. Summer McMahon and the Mountain Faith Band have been featured on America's Got Talent and hail from Western North Carolina. Their Americana roots music style has earned them numerous awards, and we are grateful for their friendship and support. Please welcome Summer McMahon.
Low, when you're feeling low and you just don't know where to run to. Broke, yeah, your heart's been broken. You feel like you're all alone. If you need something to believe in, if you're looking for a light to guide you home, just look inside. Your light is shining brighter than you know. You should know I'm never gonna let you down. I'm always gonna build you up. When you're feeling lost, I will always find your love. I'm never gonna walk away. I'm always gonna have your back. And if nothing else, you can always count on that. When you need me, I promise I will never let you down. Ooh, oh, oh, oh. Laugh, I will make you laugh if you ever feel like crying. Close, I will hold you close. You won't be alone anymore. If you need someone to believe in, you feel you've reached the end of the road, just take my hand and I won't let you go. I hope you know I'm never gonna let you down. I'm always gonna build you up. But when you're feeling lost, I will always find your love. I'm never gonna walk away. I'm always gonna have your back. And if nothing else, you can always count on that. When you need me, I promise I will never let you down. Ooh, oh, oh, oh. If you need something to believe in, if you feel you've reached the end of the road, don't be afraid, I'll always guide you home. I hope you know I'm never gonna let you down. I'm always gonna build you up. When you're feeling lost, I will always find your love. I'm never gonna walk away. I'm always gonna have your back. And if nothing else, you can always count on that. I'm never gonna let you down. I'm always gonna build you up. When you're feeling lost, I will always find your love. I'm never gonna walk away. I'm always gonna have your back. And if nothing else, you can always count on that. When you need me, I promise I will never let you down. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. I'm never gonna let you down. Ooh, oh, oh, oh.
Let me start with a pledge. A pledge to each of you and a pledge to all the people of North Carolina. I will run a campaign that appeals to your aspirations, not your fears. I will travel to all 100 counties, both large and small. I will lift up stories of people that are doing good to help their neighbors. Their stories will be the heart of my campaign. I will lift up the struggles of those who are in need, Their struggles will be the soul of my campaign. And I will celebrate the successes of our great state. These successes will be the strength of my campaign. I will not allow the mainstream media to filter my message. I will communicate directly with the people through social media. That's how you'll know what's going on. And I will not engage in divisive, negative campaigning or character assassination. That is my pledge to the people of North Carolina.
Welcome back. The video you just watched was from Dan Forest's official campaign kickoff last year in Winston-Salem. The pledge that Dan Forest made that day is displayed in our campaign office. It is a daily reminder to all of us about the responsibility we carry as we work to make Dan Forest the next governor of North Carolina. And specifically the mission we have to not rely on the media to get our message across to voters, but to speak directly to you through our social media channels and grassroots work. Now, it would be an understatement to say the national and state media aren't exactly fans of conservatives like Dan Forest. In fact, if you've been watching TV recently, you have probably been overwhelmed by this caricature that our current governor is trying to make Dan Forest out to be. We are going to use this opportunity with no media bias or filter for you to get to know Dan Forest as a person and what he stands for. In just a few minutes, we're going to welcome Dan's wife, Alice, live here in our studio. Dan is a husband, a father of 4, and has a 20-year background in business. He started his career as an architect and worked his way up to be the office president and partner of North Carolina's largest architectural firm. He left that career behind in 2012 to pursue a calling to serve the people of North Carolina. And in that election, he made history by being the second Republican elected to the office of Lieutenant Governor. Alice Forest has been with him every step of the way. They've been married for 28 years, and no one knows Dan Forest better. Before we speak to her live, I want to show you this video. Let's watch.
Dan for 28 years. I think he naturally has a servant's heart. His faith tells him that he's to be last, other people are to be first. And so he lives it out. He loves people, he loves helping people, he loves being a voice for people who don't have a voice. He loves using his talents and gifts and abilities to help people. And Dan will make a great governor.
Welcome back and welcome, Alice. It is so great to have you with us this evening. I want to just dive right in. I want to know, and the people that are watching want to know, what has this journey been like for you over the past 8 years?
Well, you really have to back up 10 years.
Okay.
Because that's when we went a little crazy and just decided to leave a really good career behind and travel across the state and get to know the people of the state, to really hear what's on people's minds, what they're dealing with, what matters to them, how they see their lives impacted by government. And so we've traveled this beautiful state multiple times now over the last 10 years. 8 years ago, though, was when he took the office of Lieutenant Governor for North Carolina. And that has been an absolute honor to be beside him as he serves in that role. There's been a lot of ups and downs in our state during that time, and I've loved being with him. I loved what we've done with his office. We redid his office and opened it up and welcomed people in, and really wanted to serve the people of North Carolina. So it's been an honor to do that.
What do you admire about Dan that perhaps the public doesn't see? What is it about Dan that, maybe that we all don't know because we see him as Lieutenant Governor, but you know him better than anyone else. So what are some things about Dan that, maybe that we don't know about that you think, that the people watching would love to know?
Oh, that's a really good question. It makes me, think for just a minute every time I think about something like that. You really know Dan once you've met him. Once you've heard him speak, once you've seen him in action, that is Dan. He is that caring, he is that thoughtful, he is a leader, and people really respond to that. So I guess the private side might be that He is a man on his knees, and he really does care about our state, and he prays for our state. And a lot of that time we were traveling back and forth across the state so many times really has been about praying for the state and praying for the people here, developing a heart for those people. So, yeah, and also, you know, pro-life, right?
Absolutely.
I really love his stand there and his voice there. He uses his voice on behalf of the weakest among us, and I'm really proud of him for that.
You know, I will say on a personal note, I think that's what, you know, first attracted to me, you know, to him when he was lieutenant governor running in 2012 and 2016 was his strong pro-life stance. So just on that note, one of my favorite videos we have is him at kickoff talking about it, and we have a video tonight, so I want to show that to everyone.
Let's take just a minute to talk about one of the big moral problems we face, the undermining of human dignity. I believe in human dignity because I believe that every human being is created in the image and likeness of God. I believe we all have the moral responsibility to love our neighbors, but especially the most vulnerable among us, the unborn, the newly born, the elderly, the orphaned, and the disabled. You would like to think that goes without saying, but in today's North Carolina, some people are sadly moving away from that ideal. In fact, Governor Cooper recently vetoed a bill that would have protected newborn babies born alive during the course of an abortion. That is the opposite of human dignity and runs counter to North Carolina values. So we're going to run a campaign that protects the intrinsic value of all life, one that respects the dignity of all people, unborn, newly born, elderly, black, white, and every other color.
That is one of my favorite videos that we have a part of our campaign. Alice, as we end tonight with you, what is it about Dan do you think that would make a great governor? What would you say to the people of North Carolina? They're watching, maybe they don't know Dan Forrest, maybe they've never heard of him and they just happen to be joining us. What would you say to them? What is it about Dan that would make him a great governor?
He's a strong leader, and I get the benefit of traveling with him a lot when he's not in his lieutenant governor role, just as Dan Forrest. When we're going to Five Guys or we're at a gas station or walking through a place, people will come up to him and they respond to him and they're thankful for his leadership for our state. I get to hear it over and over and over. Run, Forrest, run, all the time.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being with us tonight, Alice. Thank you for taking the time. Isn't it a time that our state had a governor with North Carolina values? You've just heard it, pro-life, a family man, a father of four, a homeschool father. We have a chance to do that this November. We need you to make it happen. Go to danforrest.com and donate now. We need support from all corners of North Carolina to get Dan Forrest to the governor's mansion. You can give now at danforrest.com or text Dan to 22525. And while you take the time to contribute, watch this video.
Run, Forrest, run.
My name is Dana Bailey. I'm from Pasquotank County here in North Carolina. And Dan, you have my vote.
Jamie Harrell and Dan, you've got my vote.
Run, Forrest, run.
Run, Forrest, run.
Run, Forrest, run. We're rooting for you.
I support Dan Forrest because he is the leader we need to take us into the great future and the vision that he has for us. I believe in, I love it. I've been to his rallies, I've heard him speak, and if you heard him speak, you would join us too.
Run, Forrest, run.
My name is Eugene Kent, living in Talbot County. We support Dan Forrest.
I'm Ronnie Fields, Sheriff of Moore County, and Dan Forrest, you have my vote for governor. I support you wholeheartedly, 100%. He's the man.
Run, Forrest, run.
Van Shaw, the Sheriff of Cabarrus County, and I support Dan Forrest for governor for his commitment to core values of the Republican Party as well as law and order in North Carolina.
I'm Sheriff Dwayne Goodwin of Chowan County, and I support Dan Forrest for governor.
I'm Alan Norman, Sheriff of Clinton County, and I wholeheartedly endorse this man, Governor Forrest, for election in November.
Thank you, man. I'm Sheriff Ricky Buchanan, and I support Dan Forrest for governor. Dan is a strong supporter of law enforcement and emergency services for North Carolina, and he's going to do an outstanding job moving forward as our governor.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ruth Motley, the Digital Director for the Dan Forest Governor campaign. We're holding North Carolina's first ever digital rally and telethon, and we are so glad you could join us. We turn our attention now to law and order. North Carolinians woke up Saturday morning to images of more violent protests in Raleigh. Flags burned, windows smashed, businesses boarded up. Even a memorial to our law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty was vandalized. Unfortunately, this behavior has become the new normal. The government's first priority should always be the safety and security of its people, but we have not heard a peep from Governor Cooper, even though he lives just blocks away from the worst of the damage. Now, to talk more about this, I want to welcome my next two guests. We have two sheriffs joining us tonight. Please welcome Sheriff Tracy Carter of Lee County and Sheriff Darren Campbell of Iredell County. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Awesome. I want to start off by getting your reactions from the events that transpired this weekend. The protests in general this summer that has just dominated the news. What are your thoughts on what you've been seeing?
Well, first of all, having a demonstration or a protest is different than rioting. And I think what you're seeing now is rioting, and it's wrong, and it needs to be stopped as quickly as possible. You know, you can't allow that to go on and fester because it just gets worse for your location, for your jurisdiction.
And I think we as law enforcement and the public in general, we understand peaceful protests. We absolutely encourage it. But once it turns to be anarchist, vandalism, damage to property, that's when somebody's got to step up and draw the line.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I want to talk about just this national outcry that's been, really big this summer about defunding the police. You both are law enforcement officials. Talk to us about, how that would impact North Carolina. How does that, even hit with the morale of the work that you do when you hear these cries out, we have to defund the police? What does that mean for you guys?
Well, I think when you defund the police, that is a broad stroke. The first thing you're going to have to understand when it happens is your community youth groups. We have a teen academy. We have an athletic league. Those will be the first things when those funds go away that you'll see disappear. Second will be your investigations, things such as your sex crimes investigation, your elder abuse cases, white-collar cases. Those will go away, and that's ultimately what you will get. And remember, if you defund the police, that only benefits the one group that don't or will thrive without the police present.
That's a very good point.
I second that, and it's going to cut our services. You hear a lot about community policing. I know the sheriff and I have been talking. We both believe in community policing. We do a lot in Lee County, and that drives crime down, and it builds those strong relationships that we need with our citizens. So, and this is just me personally. I feel the majority of American citizens do not want to defund the police, and I think that would be a huge mistake in any community to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just on that note, murder rates are rising across, North Carolina, crime rates. In fact, someone on social media, on our social media feed, commented that Greensboro has been now nicknamed Little Chicago just because of the rise of crime that is happening in that area. And I feel like that is so telling to where the direction our state is headed in. With crime becoming more and more prevalent, last year Governor Cooper vetoed a bill that would have held sheriffs accountable for cooperating with ICE and getting accused criminals off of our streets. So speak to North Carolina about the ramifications of this veto.
Well, I've been sheriff since 2006, and we cooperate with ICE, and it has made Lee County a better, safer place for all of our communities. I don't know of any community that wants violent offenders living amongst their children, their families, and the individuals that are arrested, placed in our jail, if ICE puts a detainer on them, they come and get them out of our jail. We're not going out randomly into communities and having sweeps, and that's made our community safer.
And I think going in the communities, I've spoken to the community, and a lot of those communities that you hear some will tell you they're less likely to report crimes because of the detainers. That's absolutely not what we hear. Those communities want those criminals out of their communities. They victimize them. And you got to remember on that bill, these were people that actually had committed crimes and was already incarcerated in the jail. This is not like somebody in the community. These are people that has committed crimes against victims.
Those are all great points. Now, you are both here endorsing Dan Forest for governor. You represent a coalition of over 53 sheriffs across the state who have endorsed Dan Forest for governor, and that coalition makes up both Republican sheriffs and Democrat sheriffs. I find this fascinating just because I don't think many people watching may realize this, but before Roy Cooper was governor, he served as our state's attorney general for 16 years. Now, the attorney general is the lead law enforcement officer in our state. So we have a coalition of law enforcement officials who have chosen a man with a business background over a former attorney general and sitting governor. What does that say about the leadership of Governor Cooper?
Well, I'm here to talk about Dan, and I support Dan 100%. I think having a strong economy drives crime down. So I'm supporting Dan because I think he'll be great for our economy, and he'll be good with crime. He's going to be strong with public safety, and he's going to support law enforcement, and I'm supporting Dan 100%.
That's awesome.
Well, and I can't speak for every sheriff, but I can speak for friends that are sheriffs. And I can speak, when I talked about Lieutenant Governor, he's walked the walk.
Absolutely.
He's expressed it. He has not turned the other way. We've seen anybody that's got law enforcement in your family or maybe friends with law enforcement, ask them. Do your research. And I think it'll be easily to choose that the Lieutenant Governor, Dan Forrest, is who we need as our next governor to make us all safe.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both for being here tonight. We really appreciate it.
It's an honor.
Thank you.
This summer's riots and peaceful protests that have damaged our cities and destroyed small businesses will be the legacy of Governor Roy Cooper. North Carolina cannot bear 4 more years of this. We need a governor who will stand with law enforcement, who will uphold the rule of law, and who will restore law and order to our state, and we need you to make that happen. So right now, head to our website at danforrest.com or text Dan to 22525 and contribute whatever you can. Your donation of any amount will make a difference in this campaign. And while you're contributing, watch this video.
Run, Forrest, run! Run, Forrest, run!
We'll never tell any business owner in North Carolina that they are non-essential and that they don't have the right to work for a living and put food on their table and feed their kids.
Run, Forrest, run. We're rooting for you.
I've been tremendously impressed with his integrity, his kindness, his concern for the people of North Carolina.
Hey, this is Richard Petty, and I hope you'll support my friend Dan Forrest in his race for governor.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Noble with Noble Food and Pursuits out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I just want to appeal to you today to back and support Dan Forrest for governor. We need him there for business. We need him there for our churches. We need him there for our families. If you can, please support Dan Forrest. We need him in this hour and in this day.
Hi, I'm Steve Vanderwood, and I support Dan Forrest for North Carolina governor. You should too. I admire Dan's values, his character, and his business and government experience. I'm confident that as governor, Dan will lead the state out of the economic crisis caused by the COVID-19 lockdown policies of the current governor. Dan's policies will enable the people of our state to prosper in a growing economy. That growth is the only sound policy to raise more people out of poverty and for working people to advance economically. We saw those policies work for the decade under Republican leadership. Dan will protect that progress and help move us all forward. I've given generously to Dan's campaign, and I hope you will too. Thank you.
My name is Lisa Grimes, and I support Dan Forrest for governor for a whole lot of reasons. Dan has a proven track record as a business leader for over 2 decades. Dan is ready to get all North Carolinians safely back to work. It's time for us to start rebuilding our state's economy.
Hey everybody, Brian and Beth Williams here. We're small business owners and certainly have contributed to the economy. We still want to do that going forward. And under the leadership that Dan provides, we're super encouraged that we're able to do some of that.
We need integrity, and we feel that there's no one better than Dan Forrest in this position for us.
We just want to encourage everyone listening to this today to support Dan. We're at a critical point in our state's history, and it cannot be done without your help.
So let's show up and show out for Dan Forrest.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here from Turning Point Action, encouraging you to support and donate Dan Forrest for Governor of North Carolina. danforest.com/donate. danforest.com/donate. Thank you.
Hey, North Carolina, welcome back. Let's turn our attention to the economy. Nearly 1.5 million North Carolinians are out of work due to Governor Cooper's coronavirus restrictions. This week, we will be the last state to still have gyms closed. Our movie theaters, bowling alleys, and bars are all still closed too, and countless businesses have been forced to permanently shut down. All these shutdowns continue despite North Carolina having an unemployment office ranked the worst in the nation. This has impacted many of you personally as you have waited weeks and even months to receive benefits. Now, as governor, Dan Forest will never tell a worker they are non-essential. He will never tell a business owner they have no right to earn a living. Now, you just watched business leaders from across the state voice their support for Dan Forest for governor. We're going to talk a little bit more about that some more tonight, so we have some special guests with me. I want to welcome the owner of the table where we are filming tonight, Dusty Gregson. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I want to get started with you. Now, you are a restaurant owner. You wear many hats. You have to meet payroll, manage staff, and that payroll, your employees depend on that to put food on their table and all of that. Our current governor has made a career in politics, and so talk to North Carolina about how important it would be to have a businessman as governor, a businessman who knows what it's like to meet payroll, to hire and fire staff. What is that like? Tell us what the difference would be for that.
I think that somebody that that has walked in your shoes says a whole lot. I know a lot of nights, especially since March 17th, my husband and I have laid in bed at night and I'm like, how am I going to make payroll? How am I going to do this? How am I going to get creative to keep our doors open? And to have somebody who has walked in your shoes, to have a governor that understands business. I opened this business 8 years ago, had no idea what business looked like. And it is probably the hardest thing I've ever done, but also the most rewarding. I think one of the things that you think about that I appreciate business owners now, that I didn't before, because when you hire, we had 41 people hired. After 2 weeks, we went down to 6 employees. And to meet payroll and to all those things, it's overwhelming. But to know that somebody as your governor, that has walked in those shoes and can understand you, is critical and so important. And it brings a lot of confidence to businesses to have that. And I just want to say one thing that was incredible for me, and I'm sure many, many business owners across North Carolina received these phone calls. But 2 weeks after we had been closed, basically, to get a call from Lieutenant Governor Dan Forest to just check on us was incredible. And that's the kind of man that he is, that he cares that much about business and small businesses. We are the heartbeat of our communities. Businesses, government does not make money. It's businesses that make money. And it's our employees that pay taxes and keep communities open and that type of thing. So to have a governor in place to help us, to back us, brings a lot of confidence to business owners.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you are the restaurant owner here, and you are open, but you're open at 50% capacity. So just, talk to us about how business is going, how that capacity has, helped or hurt you. Like, where are you right now? How are things going?
We've had to get real creative. We've had to steward our finances and that type of thing well. We've cut, like I said, our employees. We have not been able to bring everyone back. I would say we're probably down 50 to 60%. We are open only because of the generosity of this community, the generosity of other business owners who have supported us is why we've been able to keep our doors open.
Thank you so much for sharing tonight. Now, North Carolina, we are roughly 166 days into the shutdown. Dan Forest just released a digital ad highlighting where North Carolina stands in relation to other states reopening. Let's watch it.
I'm Dan Forest, candidate for governor. 49 states have reopened playgrounds, not North Carolina. 48 states have reopened gyms, not here. 45 states have reopened bowling alleys, not our state. 44 states have reopened movie theaters. North Carolina is not one of them. North Carolina is the most restricted state in the country. Ask Governor Cooper, is it science or politics?
All right, I want to bring in Ashley Denton, a gym owner from Wake County. Welcome, Ashley. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, just talk to us. You're a gym owner. You've walked through these days. You know, you were expected to open phase 2, but didn't. And so just talk to the people of North Carolina about what this has been like for you.
It's been terrifying at times. It's been infuriating. I became a business owner when I was laid off of a job probably close to 12 years ago. At that point, I made the decision that I was going to own my own business so I could be in better control of my future. And so to have my right taken away from me completely, at no fault of my own, has been very difficult. It's been very scary. And like you said, I was expected to open in phase 2. I actually initially thought we'd be phase 1 possibly because that was Trump's order of events. And then Cooper decided that we would be phase 2. Phase 2 has never come.
That's true. That is true. We are still not fully into phase 2. You bring up a really good point.
We are in phase 2, but phase 2.5 or whatever it is.
So, you know, you're not alone. There is a huge, coalition of gym owners, as I would call them, that has really rised up, through this. Talk to North Carolina. They may not realize that. Talk to North Carolinians about what, gym owners are feeling and talking about right now.
Well, I think one of the most frustrating parts is we have felt alone in this. And Dan Forrest has come to many of us, has spoken with many of us. He gave me a phone call. He came and visited my gym. He has offered support. He's guaranteed us that he's fought for us. He has been fighting for us. And none of that has come from the Cooper administration. As a matter of fact, when in one of Cooper's most recent conversations where he prolonged opening of our phase again, he skipped right over addressing us. He didn't even address us or bar owners. He skipped over us as we didn't even exist as people, as anyone who was trying to make a living. And to not be seen and to not be heard and to be treated like we don't matter, that is it's very frustrating. And a lot of people may think that see some gyms open on exemptions, the executive order. They may see some gyms open from the medical exemption from our Attorney General, from North Carolina Attorney General. But what I want to say is there is a very big difference in, as a gym, being able to just survive and being able to have the opportunity to thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a huge difference between surviving and thriving. It sounds like both of you guys are really trying hard to survive, just like so many small business owners. Now, as Dan Forrest pointed out in that video, we are one of the last states to fully reopen. We are even behind New York, right? Which is shocking when you really think about it. What does this say about Governor Cooper and what I would perceive to be his lack of trust for business owners to keep their customers safe? I have talked to many business owners over the past couple of months since this all happened, and not one of them, has this desire to open up and just expose people, to something unsafe. They have all had plans to put safety measures in place, to keep their places clean, and the frustration has been is they don't feel like Governor Cooper trusts them to keep customers safe. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yes, well, I think one of the first things is Governor Cooper has not been paying attention to the statistics of gyms who have opened within our country. There's been 49.4 million check-ins, and out of that 49.4 million check-ins, 1,155 of those check-ins have later been COVID positive. That is 0.002% of the 49.4 million check-ins in the gym that have later been COVID positive. So this doesn't even mean they've checked into the gym and had COVID. It means later they realize they had COVID. I think it means he doesn't trust us to be innovative. I think it means he thinks this is the first time we've ever had to deal with trying to keep our clients safe. And like you said, it's frustrating, and when our support mostly right now is coming from communities keeping us open.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would totally agree.
Oh, grab your
Yes.
mic. So is there anything you want to say, Dusty, as we head
No,
off?
I just, I just think having support from Lieutenant Governor Dan Forest has helped us, has encouraged us to keep our doors open. And honestly, the only reason that we have kept our doors open, it's not been financial gain at all. It's just because we have felt that our community needs some normalcy. And it's not just, yes, keeping things clean and safe is so important, but also just for people to have purpose. Right. I mean, the importance of a gym, it's a lifeline for a lot of people. Coming and dining together and that type of human interaction, the human spirit, we need this. It is keeping things clean and safe, but there's also another element of that, yes.
There is
so much more to it.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you.
All right, North Carolina, we need a governor who will reopen the economy, get us back to work, and protect both lives and livelihoods with the same intensity. Many of our businesses are hanging on to a hope and a prayer that change will come in November. You can make that happen. So from your phone, I want you to text Dan to 22525 or go to danforest.com right now and contribute any amount. While you're doing that, don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Just ahead, we will be discussing education and leadership, and Lieutenant Governor Dan Forest will be here live. But first, welcome our good friend, singer-songwriter, John Rich.
Hey folks, it's John Rich. I wanted to give a word to you about how important this election is, and I know you know how important it is that we elect leaders that love this country, that love freedom and the pursuit of happiness and all the good things our country has to offer. Dan Forest, my good buddy, as you know, is running for governor. He needs your vote and he needs your support in every way. Make sure you donate now. Bring all your friends out to this election, and let's put a real patriot in office as governor of North Carolina. You guys sing along with me. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountain to the prairie to the oceans, white with foam. Sing it, North Carolina. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless Dan Forest, God bless North Carolina, and God bless America. Let's make it count here in 2020.
I am Jimmy Dixon. I am a farmer and chairman of the House Agriculture Committee. In the early days of his first campaign, Dan Forest dedicated much of his time visiting farmers in their homes and on their farms. Dan's interest in family farmers has never wavered from those early days. North Carolina family farmers will produce over $12 billion in sales this year. Agriculture has a $94 billion economic impact for our state and is our state's #1 driver. Governor Cooper has sold out our farmers by vetoing good farm bills aimed at protecting family farmers from greedy out-of-state trial lawyers. Governor Cooper has also chosen to stand with ultra-radical liberals who want to destroy our sacred heritage. Dan Forest pledges his allegiance to our flag. He stands for our anthem, and he kneels only to God. Dan Forest loves North Carolina. and he loves America. He is prepared to be the next governor of North Carolina. Please support him now with a generous contribution at danforest.com.
From Catawba County, Dan, you got my vote.
Hey, I'm Carlos. I'm from Catawba County. Dan, you have my vote. Run, Forest, run.
Run, Forest, run.
Dan, you got our vote.
Dan Forest, you have our vote because we need to go back to school.
Run, Forest, run!
My name's Dwayne Vestal. This is my wife, Bonnie. And Dan Forest, you've got our vote. Go make it happen.
We're Haley and Jerry, and we're from Wayne County, and Dan Forest, you have our vote.
My name is AJ Karathanassis. I live in Wake County, and I'm here to support Dan Forest.
Run, Forest, run.
Run, Forest, run.
Run, Forest, run!
Schools should be open because closed schools don't work for working families. If it's safe for our children to attend day camps, learning centers, and daycares, then it's safe for our children to attend school. I'm Dan Forest. When I'm governor, no parent will have to choose between their job and their child's education. Parents should be able to decide if they want their kid in school full-time. I'll make sure all parents are given that choice.
Welcome back, everyone. You just got a first look at a brand new TV ad supporting Dan Forest, which leads us to our next topic, education. Our students should be in school by now, but instead more than 1 million kids are at home learning due to Governor Cooper's coronavirus restrictions. I want to welcome Brandon Gosey. Brandon is a public school teacher and a member of the Rutherford County School Board and also chairman of our Educators for Dan Forest Coalition. Welcome, Brandon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
We're just going to dive right in. So, there's a lot of conversation happening about schools reopening. So just as a public school educator, you're also a father. Talk to us about, what you think about that.
As a father, as a school board member in a North Carolina county, and also as a public school teacher, I do support and think it's time that our public schools are open. When we closed in March of this past school year, we didn't have a plan. We didn't know much about COVID at the time. We didn't know how to help protect our students, how to protect our teachers. And so it was probably the right thing to do at the time to close. But now school districts have come together. They've created plans, social distancing, masks, temperature checks, those kind of things to make schools safer. And so I do think it's time to open up our schools. And I'm glad to see that Dan Forest is supporting that because it's beyond time for us to have our kids back in school.
So let's talk about school choice. I know that this is something that's important to you. It's important to me as a parent also. Just talk to North Carolina about school choice and how it affects you personally and Dan Forest's stance on it.
So as a parent, I have a 6-year-old son named Jackson who attends a private Christian school in Rutherford County who is the benefactor of an opportunity scholarship. So it's troubling to see that Roy Cooper says those aren't needed anymore, and that's a good place to cut budgets. So many children dependent upon that, and so I'm glad to see that Dan Forest says that our education, your child's education, should not be defined by your zip code, and that just like everybody else, we should all have an opportunity for our child to go to school where it's best for them, and it should be a parent's decision.
Absolutely. So you are a special needs educator. Dan Forest has been outspoken about the need for children with special needs and IEPs to get in classroom instruction. We're going to watch this brand new video.
I'm Dan Forest. All students benefit from being in the classroom, but for children with special needs, schools are a lifeline. In school, these kids get the services, therapies, and individual attention they need. For these children, virtual learning means they get virtually nothing. Closed schools don't work for working families. They don't work for students, but they're devastating for children with special needs. Did Governor Cooper even give them a thought? I'm Dan Forest. When I'm governor, we'll protect the vulnerable and reopen the schools. I'm Dan Forest.
All right, Brandon. Talk to North Carolina about how important it is for children with special needs and IEPs to get in classroom instruction.
Right. So Ruth, every population, school-age population, is at risk. But our special needs populations, those children who have learning disabilities, cognitive disabilities, physical disabilities, those children need to be back in the classroom. They need to have the one-on-one instruction. They need to have their IEP followed. Lack of regression is real. And so when those children don't have those services that's designated in their IEP, we may never make that time back up. Those children that have gone without those services due to the COVID virus and due to the restrictions of schools being closed and not open, their educational progress is at risk. And that's something for the future generations that we cannot keep in mind, and that we can just look beyond and say that's not important. So it's time that every child be in school, but as an EC teacher, it's definitely time for those children to be in school so they can get their EC time, they can get their related services, speech, physical therapy, occupational therapy, those services that their lives depend on. And so it's time we open our schools. I'm thankful that Dan Forrest continues to support that mission and that cause, and I'm ready to continue to work for him and open up our schools.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight, Brandon.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. North Carolina needs a governor who will put our students first. Dan Forrest is a leader who will get our children back in school, who will make sure every family has the opportunity to choose the school that works for their child. He believes every child deserves an excellent education and that your zip code shouldn't dictate the quality of the education you receive. As Dan Forrest said in the TV ad, closed schools do not work for working families. Children can be back at school as early as January, but it all depends on who we elect as governor in this election, and we need your help to cross the finish line. Now take a moment to head over to danforrest.com or text Dan to 22525 and make your contribution. Your $5, $10, $25 or more will make an impact in this election. The ticker you are seeing across the screen are names of North Carolinians who have given to this effort. It's not too late to be part of it. As you are giving, let's watch our next video.
I've been tremendously impressed with his integrity, his kindness, but his concern for the people of North Carolina.
Dan, you've got my vote.
He is a big Second Amendment proponent. He is a Christian. He has all the values in North Carolina that we approve of.
I'm Steve Madison from New Hanover County. Dan, you've got my vote.
Run, Forrest, run! Run, Forrest, run!
Run, Forrest, run!
Run! Forrest, run!
Run, Forrest, run!
Hi, I'm Patty Kersey, Chuan County. Dan, you have my vote.
Run, Forrest, run! Run, Forrest, run!
I'm Dan Forrest. Leadership is hard work. I started my architecture career as an intern and worked hard to become office president and partner of the state's largest architectural firm. As governor, I'll work just as hard to rebuild our economy, restore hope and opportunity, and get our people back to work. I'm Dan Forrest, and when I'm governor, I'll work hard for you.
Welcome back, North Carolina. During times of crisis, leadership matters more than ever. That's why the leadership crisis we face in this state is so devastating. We need a leader in the governor's mansion. And governors across the country agree that we need Dan Forrest. Watch this.
Hello, everyone. I'm Doug Ducey, Governor of Arizona and Vice Chairman of the Republican Governors Association. We're long overdue to reestablish conservative leadership in the North Carolina Governor's Office. And I know that Dan Forrest is the right leader for this critical time. Thank you, and run, Forrest, run.
I am Tate Reeves, Governor of the great state of Mississippi, and it is my pleasure to come to you and ask you to support Dan Forrest for Governor of North Carolina.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kristi Noem. I'm the Governor of South Dakota, and I would love it if you would step up and help Dan out with some dollars for his campaign. So please do what you can to get him the resources he needs to tell people about the differences between what he would do as governor and what you're currently living with. It will make all the difference in the world for the next generation.
I'm Texas Governor Greg Abbott. We have a chance to restore Republican values in North Carolina by electing Dan Forest as governor. This is going to be a close race, and your support could make the difference.
I'm Henry McMaster, Governor of South Carolina. I'm proud to be a friend and supporter of Dan Forest. I don't see enough of Dan, so we got his niece to come work for us in the governor's office in Columbia. I want to get Dan working for you in the governor's office of North Carolina.
You know, Dan is going to bring a sense of business. He's going to bring a sense of how to reopen safely. He's going to know how to do all that. You look at Cooper and he's what not to do.
All right, North Carolina Republican Party Chairman Michael Whatley is joining me. It is so nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely happy to be here. You know that being a good governor means being a leader, and it's so important for us to have a leader in the governor's mansion, and Dan is absolutely that guy.
Absolutely. Now, you travel the state as Dan does, and our campaign does. We're traveling the state. We run into each other time to time. Talk to us and talk to the people of North Carolina a little bit about what you're seeing across the state and what people are experiencing.
Yeah, what we're seeing across the state is enthusiasm is through the roof. Excitement for Dan Forest and the governor, excitement for Donald Trump to be president. The North Carolina people realize this is not as much a COVID crisis as it is a leadership crisis. They want leadership coming out of the governor's mansion. They want to know what's going on. What we're not seeing is Governor Cooper. We were in Charlotte. He has not been there. We were in Hendersonville. He was not there. We're in Durham. He's not been there. Wilmington, he's not been there. We're not seeing signs. We're not seeing enthusiasm for him anywhere we go, but we can't even stop on the streets, fill up our gas cans, and people are coming up to us and talking about Dan Forest and how excited they are to get him into the governor's mansion.
Man, I want to take this moment for you to just address North Carolina. What would you say to the people of North Carolina right now?
What I would say is this, that we do need a leader in the governor's mansion. We need a leader with North Carolina values. There's a reason that all of these other governors have endorsed Dan Forest, because they're leaders in their own right, and they see it in him. There's a reason that President Trump has endorsed Dan, because he's a leader, and he knows that Dan will be the leader that we need in North Carolina.
I couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Carolina's 5th Congressional District. I'm proud to support Dan Forest for governor. He is the proven conservative leader we need to rebuild our state's economy and get North Carolina back to work.
I'm Ted Budd, and I'm here to support my friend Dan Forest. Dan Forest believes in the people of North Carolina, and that's why he's running. I hope you'll join me in supporting Dan Forest for governor.
Hi, this is Congressman Richard Hudson. In Congress, I've been proud to work with President Donald Trump to improve our economy, support our military, and respond to some of the most challenging times our country's faced. We've made a lot of progress, but I can't imagine how much more we could accomplish for our state with a strong conservative in the governor's mansion. So today I'm asking all of you to do all you can to support my friend, Dan Forest, for governor. Dan's a fellow UNC Charlotte 49er. He's a man of faith, and he loves his family. And he has proven that he can lead, providing strong conservative leadership as North Carolina's lieutenant governor. With all the challenges facing our state, we need a governor who will support workers and small businesses, have the backs of law enforcement, safely reopen our schools, and help rebuild our economy. What do we say, Lane?
1-4-1.
Hello, friends. This is Patrick McHenry here. Dan represents the values that North Carolinians hold dear. We need to return North Carolina to prosperity, and Dan is the one who can do it. Do everything you can to make sure that Dan is elected governor this November. Thanks so much, and God bless.
Hello, friends. Congressman Mark Walker here. This week at the convention, you've heard time and time again about how important this election is. Please go to danforest.com/donate right now and contribute what you can to Dan's campaign. Thank you, and God bless.
All right, North Carolina, I am with Representative Dan Bishop. Congressman, you represent North Carolina's 9th District in Washington, D.C., and you are here tonight on behalf of the congressional delegation that is endorsing Dan Forest for governor. We just watched the video. I'm going to give you an opportunity to address it live. Why do you endorse Dan Forest for governor?
Well, Ruth, I've come from my home in Charlotte tonight. I'd go anywhere for Dan Forest. He and I were close friends when I was in the General Assembly in Raleigh. He presided over the Senate where I served. And Dan just has deep-seated convictions. He has the courage of his convictions, and he accompanies that with a gentleness of spirit. He is a natural leader. And during the times that were difficult in Raleigh, and when we were fighting over issues that were important for the moment, the issues as they came along, in the presiding chair, when I was hesitant to move forward, I would see Dan up there. He would exchange a glance with me, and it would give me the courage. He would encourage me. As you know, that word means give courage. And he just did that for me.
Yeah, so you just mentioned you did serve in the General Assembly, you know, with Dan Forest, who presided over the Senate. So I feel like that gives you a unique perspective on the challenges we face as a state. I mean, you have firsthand knowledge. I mean, you just, entered Congress just in this last election. So just talk to North Carolina about the challenges we face as a state and how much we need Dan Forest for governor.
Well, I can say that for certain. So I went to the General Assembly in 2014. 2016, I was elected to the state Senate, was reelected in 2018 before running in a special election last September for Congress. And so I know, because I was working on budgets and so forth, that when Roy Cooper was elected governor, we entered a period where for a period of time, we had until, for the first 2 years, we had supermajorities in the General Assembly. We could make progress on issues of importance to North Carolina. But since 2018, the governor's had, we've lost veto-proof majorities, and he has had a record of obstruction ever since then. So he has kept budgets from passing. He's kept teacher pay raises from passing. And since the COVID pandemic has come along, he's exercised sort of a go-it-alone, grab power, arbitrary type impositions on businesses in which he's sort of encouraged people to give up, give in, rather than lead people to move forward. And that's what Dan Forest would do differently, I'm convinced.
Congressman, I honestly could not have said it better myself. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Reed.
Madison Cawthorn, running for Congress in North Carolina's 11th district, couldn't be with us tonight, but he sent this video. I want you to watch it.
Hello everyone, Madison Cawthorn here. I wanted to make a quick video and tell you all about my dear friend Dan Forest. I'm supporting Dan because, he really believed in me. When he was first getting his campaign for governor off the ground, he offered me a role to be able to help him get across the line. And the reason why I was so willing to do so is because North Carolina needs Dan Forest. He's a man who supports law and order, and we're all seeing with these riots that are breaking out all across the country how important that is. But even before that, I was involved before all these riots started breaking out. And the reason I was is because Dan Forest is a man who cares about people. He's a man who, when I want to take a picture with him or when I want to talk with him, I'm a man in a wheelchair. He gets down on one knee to look me in the eye and have a real conversation with me. We need to support him because he's the only person who can take us into the future and lead us to a brighter future than we've ever had. So that's why I'm supporting Dan Forest, and we need to do it too. While Dan Forest was busy making a difference for people here in North Carolina in the midst of the coronavirus lockdowns, where was Roy Cooper, his opponent? He was out in California trying to run some fundraiser. That's because Roy Cooper only cares about his donors out in Silicon Valley, whereas Dan Forest cares about each and every single one of us, dining room politics here in North Carolina. So Dan, I can't wait to get you across that finish line. I know myself and many others are going to go to your website right now, danforest.com, and make a donation to you. I look forward to celebrating your victory, my friend. Thanks, Dan.
Hi, I'm Leon Threet. As a Marine, a law enforcement officer, and a senior pastor, I've seen honorable, effective, common sense leadership at work. I believe Dan Forest is such a leader. It is that kind of leader that North Carolina will certainly need to move our economy to full recovery, fully reopen our schools, and to help our state move beyond this oppressive shutdown. I have observed before and certainly during this national and statewide crisis the kind of principled, courageous leader Dan Forest truly is. Real leaders earn the respect of others by making hard decisions and doing the right thing even when they may have to stand alone. I don't believe a crisis or a declared pandemic makes a person an outstanding leader, but it exposes and reveals the kind of leader one truly is. North Carolina needs a governor who can bring our state together across political, racial, and ideological lines. I'm fully confident that Dan Forest can and will do just that. Please
Please vote for Dan and stand with Dan in his commitment to lead all of North Carolinians forward. For with the right leadership, North Carolina's best days are still ahead of us. Would you also partner with Dan with your very best campaign contribution? Go right now to danforest.com or text Dan to 22525. Thank you and God bless.
Grandpa was an ordinary farmer, never had a lot to call his own. He taught my dad that working hard and standing firm in who you are, never forget the one who gave it all. My faith won't bend and it won't break, no one will take that away. My family stands by the way that we were raised. We will always defend the brave men who keep us safe. Stand for freedom, family, and faith. Daddy taught me how to live the honest way. Mama taught me how to bow my head and pray. Loving others more than me was the only way to be. The best examples were in front of me. My faith won't bend and it won't break, no one will take that away. My family stands by the way that we were raised. We will always defend the brave men who keep us safe. Stand for freedom, family, and faith. When I have a family of my own, I want to pass these lessons on. Maybe they will be the ones who change it all. They won't bend and they won't break, no one will take that away. They will stand by the way that they were raised, and they will always defend the brave men who keep them safe. Stand for freedom, family, and faith. Stand for freedom, family, and faith. Ooh, ooh.
Hey, North Carolina, we are outside. We are in front of Bubba 3. This is our campaign bus. I am joined by Hal Weatherman, the campaign manager for Dan Forest for governor. Thank you so much for being here. We talk a lot about grassroots. We have a strong grassroots network across the state. Talk to the people who may not know what that means.
Grassroots is the backbone of any successful campaign, and Dan Forest has methodically, over the last 8, really 9 years, invested his time, his money, his effort, traveling the state, building personal relationships with people in all 100 counties. So we're very proud of the fact that we have an old-fashioned chairs network. We have over 200 chairs around the state that are eyes and ears in their communities. They keep us grounded. We call them the pipeline. They distribute our materials. They distribute our signs, all of that. On top of that, those 200 people, we've got over 17,000 volunteers that have signed up. We call them the Run Forest Run Club for this campaign. On top of that, we've got 21 different coalition groups of different key demographics around the state that want to help Dan Forest be the governor of this great state. So we're very proud of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have been with Dan since the beginning, 2012, when he first ran for lieutenant governor. But a lot of people may not know that you were also you've been with this family for a long time. So you served with his mother, Sue Myrick, who was a congresswoman, but before that, she was the first female mayor of Charlotte. So just no one knows this family, and no one knows Dan Forest probably better than you, besides Alice, obviously, but you've been with this family for a long time. So just talk to us about, what is it about Dan Forest that, has kept you with him this long?
Well, yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I don't think, one, it's an honor and a privilege to have spent basically my entire career with one family, the Myrick family and the Forest family. But I would say the thing that I don't think people realize about Dan is how much he has personally sacrificed to serve the people of this state. Dan was a very successful businessman, was senior partner, office president of the state's largest architectural firm. He was basically running a $50 million firm, and then left at the height of his career in his early 40s. He basically forfeited all the earning potential he could have made at that point in his life to come serve the people of North Carolina as lieutenant governor. So it's a great personal sacrifice he has made. I think it speaks volumes as to him and to Alice and their family to sacrifice all of that for the people of the state. So I think a lot of people don't realize there's a personal aspect to this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, you know, we're doing this great event tonight. We're raising funds for the final days of the campaign. You know, you have North Carolina watching, Hal. You know, what do you want to say? I'm going to hand it over to you to let you address the people of North Carolina. This is your opportunity. Take it away.
Well, I would say we're in the final days of this campaign, right? We've got about 60, 65 days until a choice has to be made, and that choice is actually yours. And we have two candidates. We have two men that are laying their names, their reputations out there on the line, and they're both taking different approaches to this. Dan Forest is out actively traveling the state. Multiple counties visited. We have large crowds coming, and yes, they are very large. And then our opponent, the governor, has taken a different tack. No in-person events, basically staying in the governor's mansion and trying to run a campaign for there. And I would say simply that you have a simple choice here. The governor won't travel the state, and it's not because of COVID. It's because he's scared. He knows when he leaves the mansion and goes out, the odds are he's going to run into one of the 1.5 million people his actions have laid off from their jobs. If he leaves the governor's mansion and goes out, he's going to run into one of the 600,000 people that are stuck in the unemployment system that his administration has failed to deliver, so that these people can't get the help that they need. He knows if he leaves the state, he's going to run into mamas all over the state that now have to quit their job to stay home and supervise a kid to do virtual learning because he didn't have the courage to open up the schools. Closed schools don't work for working families. And so you have a contrast here. Our state can no longer be defined by a virus. It needs to be defined by a vision. So you have a question to answer. Which person can define that vision? Is it Roy Cooper, or is it Dan Forest, businessman, man of faith, man of conviction, who's trying to be one with the people and to govern this state from a position of hope, not fear? For me, the choice is easy. It's Dan Forest, and I ask you to give. If you're a bar owner and you have been laid off, your business has been shut down, and you're upset, we hear you, we feel you. Do something about it. Give. If you're a barber, if you're a beautician, if you're in any one of these professions that our governor had the audacity to deem as non-essential, do something about it. Give, and give now. If you're a churchgoer and your church was shut down, your place of worship was shut down during a pandemic, of all times when we need to seek the Almighty's help, then do something about it. We cannot be defined by a virus. It must be by a vision. Dan Forest will paint a vision, build the right team, and put the plan together to get us on our feet. So give, and give now.
Over 1 million unemployed and our state in crisis, it's time for change. A bold new choice for Governor Dan Forest. Dan Forest is a business leader, architect, and former partner in the state's largest architectural firm. Dan Forest will rebuild our economy, create opportunity for those who need it most, and protect our most vulnerable. Dan Forest will provide leadership, unity, and hope for our state. North Carolina needs Dan Forest for governor.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks to all of you who have spent the evening with us tonight. You just watched the first TV commercial our campaign released in July. That was $1 million investment, and your contributions are what made it all possible. If you've given tonight, thank you. You can still do so as we head into our final segment. And now I'm here for the reason we are all here. Help me welcome Lieutenant Governor Dan Forest and his wife, Alice. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Ruth. This is great. This is actually a lot of fun.
This has been a lot of fun. This has been a great night. So I'm just going to dive right in, Lieutenant Governor. You know, we've talked a lot tonight about some of the big issues facing North Carolina. You left your architectural career at its peak to serve the people of our state. Why do you do what you do? What drives you?
Well, first, it's a calling. I think anybody that, leaves a great career behind, a great job that you love, right at the peak of your career, it better be a calling. It's certainly not a financial benefit in any way. So it's really about serving the people. And, we felt called to do this because we felt a leadership vacuum in our state and in our country. And we said, we want to step up and do something. So that's why we do what we do.
You know, we heard from Alice earlier in the program, and she spoke about what she sees in you that would make a great governor. So now I want to kind of turn the tables. I'm going to ask the same question. I want you to talk to North Carolina about what qualities in Alice do you see that would make her a great First Lady of North Carolina?
Well, first, it was good that you were nice to me, because this is my turn now. Boy, I tell you what, Ruth, I don't even know where to start. First, she's the most sensitive and compassionate person that I've ever met. I've never met anybody that loves people the way that Alice loves people. I'll give you just an example from yesterday. We get up yesterday and she said, you know what, there was this guy that was calling our office and he was having a hard time with unemployment and he couldn't get through to the unemployment lines, and he's older and his wife had to have surgery, and so they basically weren't eating. They didn't have any food. And she said, come on, we're going to Shelby, or to Rutherford County rather. We're going on a road trip, 4 hours out there, 4 hours back to take food to this couple. That's the kind of thing that she does all the time. Listen, I would like to think that I'd be the one getting up and driving 8 hours in a day to take somebody groceries, but that's just the way she is, and that's the way she operates. She'll make an awesome First Lady for this state for that reason alone, but she's got so many other qualities. She's brilliant, she's beautiful, she's compassionate, she's passionate at the same time, and you know, she's has this gift of hospitality, of just opening our home and inviting people in, and you know, just there's just no end to it. So, and you know, she's my best friend, and so we love spending time together and hanging out.
Now, when you announced your campaign for governor, you spoke about unity, opportunity, and possibility. You know, break that down for us and the people watching who may not really understand what that means.
Well, you know, unity is actually quite simple. It's one of the founding principles of our nation, e pluribus unum, out of many one. You know, our culture is becoming more diverse, more culturally diverse over time, which creates more and more unique challenges. But even as we become more culturally diverse, all of these cultures are allowed to keep the things about their culture that makes them unique, but at the same time we need to find the value system, find the things that unite us and tie us together and bind us together. If we do that, I think our best days are yet ahead. Any nation around the world is not a nation unless they unify under a common set of values, and America is the greatest nation that this world has ever seen, primarily because of this simple idea in the Declaration of Independence that all men are created equal and they're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You know, these are things that are not given to us by the government, right? And we have this opportunity as a state to do something even that the rest of the country and even the rest of the world is struggling with. How do we come together under values and vision and things that just bind us together so that we can go into the future in a new way? And then opportunity was primarily about a couple things. One was educational opportunity. There are the haves and the have-nots in North Carolina for education. And I believe that all students deserve the opportunity for an excellent education. And so we need to provide that to students. That's why I'm a fan of school choice. That's why I'm a fan of opportunity scholarships, because the poorest of the poor students, those are left behind in failing schools that have no other opportunity or option for a good education. Those parents now have a chance to send their kids to a good school where their kids have hope for a future. And that's what education should be about, is about the hope that your kids can have at least a similar future that you had, if not a better one. And then the second part of opportunity is about economic opportunity, that everybody can have a chance for a good job, a good paying job that can help them support their family, and that they can have an opportunity to do the same things that we were able to do growing up in this country. Possibility is a little different. It's about casting a vision for the state of North Carolina. What do we want to be, North Carolina, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years down the road, and putting together a vision that we can all coalesce behind as a state and be proud to go try to achieve that vision. I think when we do that, I really do think our best days are yet ahead. Put together a vision, put together a team, put together a plan, and go do it and make something for our future as a state.
What's at stake in this election? Just there's so much going on both nationally and statewide, and I know you travel the state. You know, you just told this very personal story about, you know, what you and Alice did yesterday. You know, talk to North Carolina about what's at stake. What's at stake in November?
Well, personally, I believe everything is at stake for the future of our country and our state. I think this decision we make in November just cuts to the heart of freedom, cuts to the heart of the values of the state. Like I said, that Declaration of Independence that all men are created equal and endowed for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's ultimately what is at stake right here. We have factions in our country that are pushing communism. You hear this Marxist revolution. Marxism is communism. It just doesn't work for the people. It works for the Marxists that create it, for the disruptors. They make the rules, and the rules always benefit them. But it doesn't benefit the people. The people suffer. So if you're talking about communist Cuba, why do people escape communist Cuba? Why do they tear their houses down to build boats for a slim chance of making it across the ocean? What happened in communist socialist Venezuela within 20 years, one of the most prosperous countries that the world had seen, fell apart. People were eating their animals for dinner because they had no food on their table. That's the promise of socialism. It's empty. It's nothingness. We can go around the world and we can look at people trying to escape socialist and communist countries to try to come to America. Hundreds of millions of people trying to come here. Why? Ultimately, it's about freedom, opportunity, and hope for a future. And that's what's at stake right now. That's what's on the line.
Lieutenant Governor, Ms. Ellis, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, friends, you have just heard what's at stake in this election. We need a leader in the governor's mansion, a leader who will uphold law and order, protect life, and represent North Carolina values. We need a businessman who will rebuild our economy and open up the state. Our schools need to reopen quickly and safely. Friends, our businesses are boarded up, our roadsides are overgrown and littered with trash. This is not the North Carolina I moved to 10 years ago. We need a change this November, and we need Dan Forest for governor. So the time is now to contribute to the Dan Forest campaign. If you haven't already, text Dan to 22525 or go to danforest.com right now and give. Every $10, $20, anything you can do will help us get the message out across North Carolina in the final days of this campaign. Now, this broadcast will be available on our social media after we wrap up, so be sure to share it with your friends and family who weren't able to make it tonight. That's it for us. As we end tonight, I'm going to hand it back over to Summer McMahon. On behalf of Team Forest, I'm signing off, and I'll see you next time.
She grew up on the side of the road where the church bells ring and strong love grows. She grew up good, she grew up slow, like American honey. Steady as a preacher, free as a weed. Couldn't wait to get going, but wasn't quite ready to leave. So innocent, so pure and sweet, American honey. There's a wild, wild whisper blowing in the wind, calling out my name like a long lost friend. Oh, I miss those days as the years go by. Oh, nothing sweeter than summertime and American honey. Get caught in the race of this crazy life, trying to be everything could make you lose your mind. I just wanna go back in time to American honey. There's a wild, wild whisper blowing in the wind, calling out my name like a long lost friend. Oh, I miss those days as the years go by. Oh, nothing sweeter than summertime and American honey. Gone for so long now, gotta get back to her somehow. To American honey. Ooh, there's a wild, wild whisper blowing in the wind, calling out my name like a long lost friend. Oh, I miss those days as the years go by. Oh, nothing sweeter than summertime.